He was once a rising star in one of Hungary's largest and most controversial political parties, Jobbik. Jobbik has been labeled fascist and anti-Semitic. Csanád Szegedy, still in his 20s, was on a trajectory to lead this party someday.
I joined Jobbik in 2003 when the party foundations were being built. I was a member for 9 years. I was vice president for 6 years and in the European Parliament since 2009.
Szegedy has also been branded an anti-Semite, although in our interview he disagreed.
When I entered Jobbik, I was kind of indifferent toward Jews. I didn't care about Jews. I didn't care about the Holocaust. I didn't consider the Holocaust as a tragedy for the Hungarian people. I read a lot of anti-Semitic literature.
Still, Szegedy was a leader of a party almost universally labeled anti-Semitic, and his public statements showed that at the very least, he still didn't like Jews and was suspicious of them. But that would all change when Csanád Szegedy would learn something about himself that turned his world upside down. Csanád Szegedy was a Jew. Rumors had begun swirling on the internet that Szegedy had Jewish roots, so he went to talk with his 94-year-old grandmother, who had never said she was Jewish.
And she opened up and she talked about her life and how she was sent to Auschwitz and how our whole family was annihilated.
How did this change your view of the Holocaust?
I was shocked. First of all, because I realized the Holocaust really happened.
Not sure what he should do next, he first tried to hide his Jewishness and act like nothing had happened, but eventually realized he could not stay in Jobbik.
I realized I can't take part in any organization that has anything to do with anti-Semitism. And after my Jewish origins were disclosed, they really didn't want to see me in the party.
So what do you do when you discover that you are one of the very things that you hated? For Csanád Szegedy, you change. Szegedy contacted local rabbi Shlomo Koves, who first thought it was a joke.
When we met first with Csanád, I had a very mixed feelings because from one hand, I was sitting across somebody that was seen for years as one of the main figures of the Jobbik party. From the other hand, I was sitting across a broken person who has realized what he has done and who has become to a situation where he figured he has to change, but he still doesn't know how to change.
Csanád started attending synagogue and admits that at first some members treated him like a leper.
It was very interesting to see how other people look at it, and on one hand they took a step back and they were shocked.
And would literally leave the synagogue when he walked in. But some befriended him and he started taking classes at the synagogue, learning Hebrew and the meaning of kosher and Shabbat. How much of your life has changed since you learned that you're a Jew?
It's changed everything. It's like being reborn, and the changes in my life are still happening. I had this value system until I was 30, and I had to admit that it was all wrong and had to find the will to change.
He also became a politician without a party, but has continued to serve in the European Parliament as an independent.
As a politician, I now want to defend human rights for everyone. I am aware of my responsibility, and I know I will have to make it right in the future.
One of the high points of his new life was traveling this year to Israel with his wife and visiting the Holocaust Museum and the Wailing Wall.
When I landed in Israel, airport security asked me a lot of questions. And when the guard asked me, "Are you a Jew?" then for the first time in my life, I could say yes.
What has it been like learning how to be Jewish?
Just to feel like you're on the right way spiritually and you can get closer to God, it's a whole new feeling for me that I'm doing the right thing. My life has been full of incredible miracles, but I believe everyone who chooses the way of God sees miracles.
Dale Hurd, CBN News in Budapest, Hungary.